of meeting only. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Of course. Happy to join.
So let me just share this link in the group so that anybody who is online can also join.
Sure. I'll join using my laptop.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. Oh, 4 5 people joined. Okay. Thank you all for joining online. Yeah. So today we are discussing the topic of spirit of Bhagavad Gita. What is the right mood in which we have to learn Bhagavad Gita? So Bhagavad Gita is very famous across the world. This is the most famous book, and it was at least translated by 800 people, or at least there are 800 plus translations of Gita, most translated book in the world. And great scientists like uh, Oppenheimer, Einstein, they have referred to this book. They found this book is a book of great wisdom. Besides that, even great people like Mahatma Gandhi, and Aurobindo, they all found great inspiration in this book. Mahatma Gandhi always carried a copy of Gita with his hand, wherever he went. And you can read what was written here. Just read out loud.
When doubts haunt me, when disappointment stares me in the face, and I see not one ray of hope on the horizon, I turn to Bhagavad Gita and find a verse to comfort me. And I immediately begin to smile in the middle of overwhelming sorrow. Those who meditate on the Gita will derive fresh joy and new meanings from it every day. By Mahatma.
Yeah. So Mahatma Gandhi used to read this every day, just like we eat food to nurture our body. Our intellect, our soul also needs nurture. And he has used Bhagavad Gita as the wisdom text for that. And many, many great people in the past, for the last many thousands of years, have done the same. And great acharyas like Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, they have all proclaimed Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord and the wisdom text Gita as the essence of all the Vedic wisdom. So, yeah. So there are few verses to just understand the importance of Bhagavad Gita. There are few verses which are given in the introduction of this book. When you go home, you can read. There is an introduction of around 20 plus pages, which is a very good one. So we are discussing focused on that part now. So it says, Maline mochanam pumsam, jalasnanam dine dine, sakrit gita mritasnanam, samsara malanashanam. Right? So this is from Gita Mahatmya by Adi Shankaracharya. The translation goes like this. One may cleanse himself daily by taking a bath in water. But if one takes a bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. Right? Yeah. So just like we require, while living in this world, we require bath to cleanse ourselves on a daily basis, to cleanse the mind of all the unwanted things, right? The unwanted things in our mind, can you name what are the things that really bother from inside us? Fears, yeah. Anxieties, yeah. Huh? Security issues, yeah, they always bother us, yeah. Anything else? Anger is a big problem, yeah. Anger, and there is greed, envy, false prestige. Right? A lot of people we have seen problems because of this, right? Many. Validation. Yeah, need for validation. All of this will go away when you are happy from inside. So that you get when you find your essence. When you touch that, when you really understand your purpose here and you know why you are here and your duty here, you will get out of all these external or internal negativities as well as external forces, right? So both. So it will like cleans your mind of all the unwanted things. Just like you have a mirror and the mirror is dusted. Can you see your true self in that mirror? You cannot. So all these unwanted things are like those dust particles on the mirror. When you cleanse it, you can see your true self. So that is the journey on which Gita takes us. So this is one verse which tells what Gita gives us, right? So let's read the next verse. So there is this very famous verse, unfortunately, not able to project to you. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandana pardo vatsa sudhir bhokta tugdam gitamritam mahat. So all the Upanishads are like cow. Upanishads are many in number, right? There are 108 important Upanishads in the Vedic wisdom. There are 18 Puranas, 4 Vedas, and there are many Vedangas. Upanishads. Upanishads is the philosophy part of Gita. So in this way, there are many Vedic literature. If all the Upanishads are like a cow, what is the essence of cow? Essence of cow is the milk. So that milk is like Bhagavad Gita. So it has the essential knowledge of entire Gita. And the next point says, milker of that cow is Lord Krishna. So if Vedic wisdom is like cow, it has all, but the essence is the milk. That milk is given by Krishna himself. He is actually milking the cow and giving the essence of entire Vedic wisdom. Arjuna is the calf. Arjuna is the first recipient. Generally in India, sometimes when cows don't give milk, what do? They bring the calf. When the mother sees the calf, first it will give milk. And once, cow has enough milk to feed its calf and also give more. That is how cow is built. So the idea is first Arjuna, who is the proper recipient, who has the right spirit of, learning Gita, he was the calf. Krishna uses this calf, Arjuna, to actually bring out the wisdom of Gita, the milk, the essential wisdom of entire Vedic wisdom in the form of Bhagavad Gita, the song of God. And the fortunate devotees of fine theistic intellect are the drinkers and the enjoyers of that milk. So which is all the people of this world from thousands of years, right? They're all deriving getting nourished with this milk of wisdom of entire Vedic wisdom, given in the form of, milk, essential milk by Lord Krishna, who derived from the cow, right? So we're all able to enjoy because, we have Arjuna as the calf who started this process and left us the rest of the milk for us. Now, there is one essential final verse by Adi Shankaracharya in this Gita Mahatmya. So that goes like this. Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gita. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani. Karmapi Ekam Tasya Devasya Seva. So he now concluded the entire Vedic wisdom in this verse. So what does it say? Let there be one scripture only, one common scripture for the whole world, Bhagavad Gita. For the whole world. He didn't say for India, for the whole world. Because if you see this is the one book, it's non-denominational. You won't find anything that is applicable to a specific sect of people. It talks about who you are, essentially the soul, that is applicable to anybody. It talks about how to work, right? Karma Yoga talks about how to work in this world so that all the anxieties won't ever bother you. Many aspects like that, how to live in this world. The chapters 12 to 18, 13 to 18 talk about how to lead a life in this world, how to understand yourself truly and make the best use of this body, human body. So, and then let there be one God for the whole world, Sri Krishna, right? Son of Devaki. Let there be one mantra, one hymn, the chanting of his name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which we will do at the end of the session, right? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then let there be one work, the service of the Supreme Lord, right? So because that will truly satisfy the heart. Right? So this is Gita Mahatmya, verse number 7. So in this way, Gita Mahatmya gives the essence of, what is Gita, right? And if there should be one scripture we should learn, because there are so many scriptures, essentially we can't even afford to learn all those. If we have very little time, what is that one thing we should learn? Bhagavad Gita, yeah. Just like if you go to any Christians and ask what do you read, they will say Bible. Similarly, the Muslims, they would say they will read Quran. And this is for everybody, not just for Muslims. It's not sectarian. Right? This is one book. It's a dialogue. Right? It's not. There is no commandment here. It's a dialogue. It's an intellectual dialogue and devotional dialogue as well, you can say. And like anybody who has an inquisitive mind, Arjuna puts all sorts of questions so that anybody will, as they journey through the wisdom of Gita, they learn all the principles along the side of Arjuna. Hmm. Yeah, so that is Lord Krishna. Yeah. So the discover yourself, if you have attended, that actually scientifically shows why, how Lord Krishna is the Supreme Lord, right? Yeah. So that is Supreme Lord, he is Lord Krishna.
And then why this one we have Krishna also and then Rama also.
Rama essentially also refers to Balaram, and they are together. They are one and the same. Rama, I mean, it's the same in Lord Krishna's incarnation is Rama. Yeah. So they're one and the same. If you worship Rama, it's the same thing. It's not non-different. Yeah. Any other questions before we move ahead? In these 3 verses, any questions or any comments?
We can hear like sometimes people say Adi Shankaracharya was Mayavadi philosopher, but he refers to Bhagavad Gita and he refers to Krishna and the Supreme. This doesn't happen.
Yeah. So Adi Shankara himself is not Mayavadi. Actually, the followers after him have, and I'll clarify what is Mayavada and all. There are slight deviations of the original philosophy of Gita, which a lot of people still refer to as the core philosophy, which is incorrect. So we'll learn about that. Adi Shankara himself, who is Adi Shankara also we should know. He is actually Lord Shiva himself. Lord Shiva himself has incarnated as Adi Shankara. Before that, there was a whole history of why he preached this philosophy. The philosophy, there was, long time ago in Puranic stories, there was a story when Lord Shiva was cursed to actually preach wrong philosophy. And he himself was a devotee of Lord Nrsimhadev, personally. You will see a lot of hymns in worshipping Lord Nrsimhadev. But essentially, he preached a philosophy at a particular time based on time, place, circumstances. It was the need. So because there is a historical progression in which the philosophy of wisdom was derived. So Buddha came. He preached that there is no God. From there to convert to actually, a philosophy of one God, Adi Shankara had to preach that philosophy at the particular time. But anyway, that is a little, we'll get to that later, okay? So let's move ahead with this. Yeah. So this was whole discussion was, I'll project and some of you read, but it all changed because I have to read now. I'll read, okay? So in Kali Yuga, because we're all short-lived, we have very short span of life. We have a seat, Prabhu, but feel free to be here or not. Unfortunately, we are unable to project today. Yeah, if you can help with that, that will be great. If there is anybody who can help. Yeah. Yes. I don't know still. I mean, we tried with HDMI, it didn't work out. Yeah. Yeah. So I think we already discussed that in Kali Yuga, because people are very short-lived, we don't have so much time. Gita is the one book we can study to learn the essence of all the Vedic wisdom.
They just got there, they could be the time we spend on.
I mean, that is also short. I mean, there is a span of time for different ages. Kali Yuga is the age where people live for 100 years. So before this, there are ages where people have longer lifespan, like 1,000 years, like that. Yeah. So the lifespan is short. And also there are many other characteristics of Kali Yuga. People are, a lot more in anxiety, their manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagyam. Their fortune is also far less compared to previous ages. People, we hear, Puranic stories where people meditated for many, many hundreds of years, right? We don't hear that in this age. Yeah. Just to meet our basic ends itself, the whole life goes in. So that's why, we need the quick solutions or fast solutions, right? And we can't even sit down to meditate, for example, right? Well, because mind is so disturbed. So the easiest practice is mantra meditation. We will practice at the end of the session. So all of that is simplified. The spiritual process is completely simplified for the age of Kali Yuga. Right? Yeah. There is an exercise, unfortunately. It goes very well if I can project and show. So there is.
Yeah, I can. Can everyone see?
Can everyone
Yes, I
see?
can see. Yeah, maybe everyone can see, right? Yeah.
Okay, let's do like that.
We can join the group.
Yeah,
You can join the Zoom and we can.
You
but
can
if
also
you can
join the
see,
Zoom.
then
But let's be interactive. If you see here, can you also see?
yeah,
Can
I
everybody
can see very
You can
clearly.
also see?
Can you see? No, maybe come this
Yeah,
side.
you can come
this
closer.
side.
So this is,
Yeah.
the reason to do this exercise is so that you are paying attention to the previous discussions. That's the main part.
Close the window.
Huh?
Maybe we should close the window.
Yeah, maybe the light is no.
It's fine here. We can.
Oh, sharing.
Okay.
No, no. People are walking by and everyone, your attention would be there instead of that.
Sure.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we are trying to match this. So we discussed Gita Mahatmya, right?
someone. No,
Yeah. So Upanishads, as I said, is the essence of Vedic wisdom, right? So now look at this and see which one matches. Meant to drink milk, calf, Ekam Shastram.
Here comes up.
Arjun is calm.
Arjun is calf, yeah. Ekam Shastram, right? So, yeah, I think that is the closest match.
So what's
Bhagavad Gita should be.
Bhagavad Gita should be Ekam Shastram, right?
Upanishads.
Krishna Eko Deva. Devo.
No, Ganges water would be the best match. Yeah.
Lord Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita, we already,
Ekam Shastra.
Ekam Shastram, yes, yeah. Lord Krishna,
Cowherd boy.
covered boy who is Eko Deva also. Yeah, Eko Deva also, both 5 and 6. Yeah. Actually, Upanishads doesn't have an answer. I remember now. That's why I'm searching why answer is not there. Yeah. Arjuna, correct. Yeah. Arjuna is the one who is enabling us to drink the milk now. Learned scholars,
Meant to drink the milk.
meant to drink the milk. Yeah, correct. And Hare Krishna Mahamantra,
Eko Mantra.
8. Yeah. Devotional service. Yeah.
Karma.
last one.
Karma
Karma.
Ekam.
Yeah. The one thing we should all do is devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Yeah. And then pure devotees.
Cowherd boy to milk.
No, that is Krishna.
Can
That is Krishna.
also meant to drink.
Also meant to drink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also.
Yes.
same, yeah, yeah. So that's quick exercise. Thank you. Or maybe I can continue like this. Right? Yeah. So we'll hear two stories, as part of this discussion. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is the topic we are discussing. Yeah, this is, can skip. Yeah. So there was maybe story, right? I can just tell. That's easier. Otherwise, your focus will be on this and so there was a story of a South Indian Brahmin, right? About 500 years ago, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring the South India. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is an incarnation of Lord as per scriptures. So when he was touring South India, spreading the holy name, so once he went to Sri Ranga Kshetra, which is in Karnataka. You are aware of Sri Rangam? Sri Rangam, no? Okay. It's in Tamil Nadu, right? Tamil Nadu, yeah. So it's the largest temple in entire country, right? Largest temple. In terms of the size and also the construction as well. So this temple, there is this South Indian Brahmin who would go to the temple every day and would read Bhagavad Gita. But he was an illiterate. He knows very little about, Sanskrit. He would read irrespective of, whether he knows or not. Sometimes he would keep the book upside down and, do some reading. And when he was doing that, many times he would get tears also. So many people around him would laugh at his pronunciation, and they would never really think of him as a devotee or anything like that. One time when Lord Chaitanya came, he actually witnessed this Brahmana reading, and he was also crying at the time. So he asked, why are you, crying while reading Bhagavad Gita? So he mentioned that when I am reading Bhagavad Gita, when I just open these verses and look at them, I remember Lord Krishna, who has kindly become the chariot driver for his devotee Arjuna. So when I just remember the Supreme Lord, who is the controller of everything, who is, the proprietor of everything, when he becomes servant of his own devotee, I just feel overwhelmed by that feeling, and that's why I cry. Whenever I open, that picture is always in my heart. So this is the mood in which that person is reading. That's why so then Lord Chaitanya said, you have the right understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Even though you are not externally scholarly to study, or you don't know the Sanskrit, but you really understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So so what that Brahmana had is the spirit of devotion. Right? It's not reading Gita is not just an intellectual effort. Unless we have the right mood, that right mood is like the key for the extracting the wisdom of Gita. If we just read Gita like any other scholarly exercise, we may learn Sanskrit terms and philosophy, dry philosophy, but we don't get the essential wisdom of Gita. Right? So that is the learning from that. So we can learn from the South Indian Brahmin what is the right mode in which we have to approach. We have to at least theoretically accept Lord Krishna as Lord of the universe, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? In the beginning, you may not be fully convinced. You may not really accept internally, but theoretically accept. As we learn Gita, as we practice meditation, chanting of Hare Krishna, which we do at the end, that will become natural for you. Right? Because the principles himself, that learnings as we go through, will clarify all the doubts we have. And then we'll have also Q&A, so which will clarify any doubts you have. Is that clear? Yeah. Yeah. So that is the story here, South Indian Brahmin. Yeah. There are So as part of this discussion, we'll also discuss some of the misconceptions about Bhagavad Gita. There is a category of people called Mayavadis, who essentially believe that when Lord Krishna comes to this world, he has a material body. When Lord Krishna comes, he has a material body. So they do not attribute any divinity to the Lord. They understand that he is a divine personality, but they do not understand fully. They do not accept his body as Sat Chit Ananda. Okay? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am Divyam. But this category of people do not understand that. But with that spirit, if somebody tries to read Gita and understand and apply, they won't get the essence of it. Right? So that's one thing to understand when we read Gita, because most of the people in this world have this kind of understanding, Mayavadic understanding, that their goal is to merge into Vishnu or merge into God, like that they said. Right? But there is no real spirit of devotion there, unlike what we have seen in the case of South Indian Brahman, right? Or in the case of Arjuna. We'll read his story as well. So this is a very incorrect spirit to study Gita and understand the wisdom of Gita.
By devotion, I'm not understanding it fully. So by devotion, you mean that we should consider Lord Krishna as the God, and but that feeling that this learning is coming from God, we should believe.
Right, yeah. It's not a knowledge coming from a mortal like us. He is Supreme Lord. Yeah. It's not a simple, narration between just two regular friends. It's divine wisdom. Like I said, it is the essence of all the Upanishads in one place. Yeah. Yeah. So any other attempt to understand just on an intellectual plane is like trying to lick a honey bottle from outside. Right? You see the honey, it's honey, but you're only licking the bottle. You will never taste the essence. Right? So before, when I said in the beginning, right, there are 800 versions of Gita. Many people asked Srila Prabhupada, who actually came to the West and spread the Gita wisdom and transformed Western people. Many people asked, there are already 800 versions. Why add one more to it? What is the difference? Specifically asked by a very famous singer, George Harrison. Why, Prabhupada, what is so special about your book? So Prabhupada mentioned, there are many, many saints from India who have come before me. But who has really transformed people's lives in a way their life is completely changed. Now you see in the West, even Western-bodied people, study Gita and teach Gita. They participate in Harinam Sankirtans. You all have seen, right? Videos of it. All of us have seen. So there is a real transformation of heart. Even though there are so many people have come, there was no visible difference in the hearts of the people of the West. But when Prabhupada's version of Gita was taught, and when Prabhupada came in the West and taught, it really transformed people. And they, with open mind, the people who were, in fact, like hippies, they were taking drugs and were doing all kinds of, bad things, rejecting society. Even those kind of low-grade people were also completely transformed into like first-class, brahmanas, you can say. Brahmana means not a caste category, but actually Brahmana is Brahmajana Piti Brahmana, one who is inquiring the absolute truth. So that kind of first-class people were created out of the movement that started when Prabhupada came here. So that was the transformation that this book has done. Because Prabhupada gave the wisdom of Gita, he gave the translations, but he also gave the right spirit in every purport. You might, when you read purports of Prabhupada, you will see many of the philosophy being repeated. The essence is always touched. Means that, we have to be grateful to God. We have to, be always Krishna conscious, like that. So the reason is, the essence of Gita is that But many people may not even read all the verses of Gita. If a person reads 1 or 2 verses also, Prabhupada wants to get the essence. So he put the essence in every verse, in a way. So yeah, so intellectual efforts would be like this. Right? This is another simple exercise. Henry? Although Bhagavad Gita is well known, only one who has taken it up in a spirit of devotion, yeah, can understand it. Bhagavad Gita is not a mythological treatise spoken by some mortal. He's not a mortal, but it is the eternal, timeless, mature voice of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is addressed as Bhagavan, the possessor of all 6 opulences. Yeah. So that is, you all are now already getting everything. Nice.
What are the 6 opulences?
Aishwarya, which is opulence, wealth opulence. Yeah. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, he's powerful, right? He's all rich. All riches, because everything belongs to him. In one of the verses, Bhumi Rapon Alavayu, all the elements exist, they all come from him. So you will read all these verses in various verses. Bhoktaram Yajyatapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhridam Sarvabhutanam, Nyatmanam Shantim Richati. Bhoktaram Yajyatapasam means I am the enjoyer of all the fruits of all the sacrifices. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, he says. Not just this one loka, but Sarvaloka Maheshwara. Maheshwara means the Ishvara means controller. Maheshwara means the supreme controller. So I am the controller of all the universes that exist. Those wise who know this will be the most peaceful.
They don't own anything, everything is fine.
Yes. When we live in this world as trustees of things that we have in our possession, that is when we will be peaceful. We are not the owners, because at some point we all have to give up what all we have. So we learn all those a little later. But yeah, those are the opulences. And then above all of this, even though he has all these opulences, the greatest opulence is he is renounced of all. He is very renounced. One example is, he is the greatest person, but he is ready to become a chariot driver. Another example is, when he was in this world, Yudhishthira Maharaj was the ruler of the world, and he was the king of Dwaraka. And he was happily being under the rulership of Yudhishthira. Even though he is the supreme lord, he behaved like, so that is all renunciation of the Lord. Right? And he is the greatest person, but still he became a simple chariot driver. Who would become, many people wouldn't want to even become a chariot driver. Right? Yeah. So next story we read, we are trying to understand the spirit in which we have to learn Gita, right? So the story of Arjuna. So when the war was declared, Mahabharata war was declared, all the Duryodhana sent all his key members to various places to seek support to fight on his behalf, right? To various kingdoms. Similarly, Pandavas were also trying to gather their support. So they both, when this was declared, immediately the first person they want to go is Krishna, because they know whoever is on Krishna's side will win. They both know. So both of them rush. And on Kaurava's side, Duryodhana, because he wanted to go himself in this case, because he knows how powerful is Lord Krishna. So he himself went, along with Duryodhana, at the same time, even Arjuna went to seek the help of Lord Krishna. Both of them entered Dwaraka, and even Duryodhana was a little ahead of Arjuna. So they both entered, and they were all directed to the palace where Lord Krishna is. It's very early in the morning. The last night was declared war, and this morning both of them were there at 6 a.m. So both of them went to the room where Lord was resting that morning, and Duryodhana was sitting at the head of Lord. He's a big guy. And then Arjuna was very humbly sitting at the feet of the Lord. He was not sitting, actually standing. And Lord Krishna, in some time, he woke up and he first saw who? Arjuna, because he's at the feet. And then Duryodhana, he turned side and he saw Duryodhana also. Both of them came, "Oh, what is the purpose?" Then both of them said, first Duryodhana started because he's the elder, right? Said, "Lord Krishna, we want you to be on our side because now the war was declared. We want your support. And I came before Arjuna. So you have to help me." Then Lord Krishna said, "Even though you came before, I accept that. But when I woke up, I saw Arjuna first because he's at my feet. I want to assist both of you because both of you are my family members. But because Arjuna was first, he's the younger, I will give him the choice. I have two things to offer. Both are good. You can choose whatever you want." So the first option is, I have 1 million fighters called Narayan Sena. I will give one of you the whole of Narayana Sena in this war to fight. The second option is, I will come along. And these Narayana Sena, each of them are equally powerful, as powerful as me. Krishna hinted that as well. Duryodhana was worried, like who will Arjuna choose? Because Arjuna was given a choice first. And then the other choice is, I will be there, but I will not lift a weapon. I'll be just guiding the person, whoever is on my side. So then Arjuna, without a second thought, Arjuna was given choice. He said, "I want you, Krishna." He kept silent. Duryodhana was so happy from inside because he thought this guy was driven by sentiment again. So he was very happy from inside, but then he said, "What to do? I don't have a choice. Arjuna has already chosen you. I'll settle for Narayana. I really want you, but I'll settle for Narayana." But he was happy. Arjuna, Krishna, he immediately said, "Thank you, Krishna. I have to leave now. Prepare for the rest of the war." And he left immediately. Arjuna was staying back for some more time. Krishna asked, "Arjuna, why you made such a choice? I'm not going to lift a weapon. I'll be of no use for you. Why did you even choose me?" Then Arjuna said, "Oh Lord, I have you. If I have you, I'm confirmed that I have victory. I have no doubt about it. I'm 100% convinced. I don't need anything else except you. If I have you, that's all I need." Then Lord Krishna laughed and then Arjuna departed. So what is the essential lesson? What is Duryodhana looking for here? Duryodhana was looking for the fighting power. The power to fight and win this war. He was only looking at this whole thing as a material thing, right? In our outlook also, in our life, if our outlook is only to gain material things in this world, it is very similar to what Duryodhana's spirit is, right? But Arjuna chose Krishna, right? He has that spirit of devotion. So similarly, we have to have that right spirit towards Lord Krishna. Then we get the essence of this wisdom, this Bhagavad Gita wisdom. Yeah, so this is the story. Yeah. I will ask you a question. Who will you be attracted? If you have two people in your life, one person essentially loves you, the other person loves what you have. For example, he is very nice to you, he talks to you, and he is very friendly, but he's only looking for you as a resource. Who would you love? Naturally. Yeah, the one who loves. That's exactly what happens with Lord also. So now two people approach Lord, right? Arjuna and Duryodhana. And Duryodhana has this, Duryodhana is seeing Lord as a resourceful person. There is no iota of spirit of devotion. Arjuna knows he wants to please the Lord. He wants Lord to be on his side. That's all he wants. So you can see the difference in the attitudes of both, right?
But I have a question. Both of them went to Lord with the same intention, right? Like if Krishna did not give the two options, both of them with the idea that if they have Krishna on their side, they are going to win. So the desire was the same,
Yeah, desire was to receive the support of Lord, yeah.
right? Uh,
But one is materially inclined, the resource part. When Arjuna was seeking, it's a little different. Right? There is, he is more attracted to Lord. That is very clear. Right? He want to have Lord on his side. For example, even when we practice Krishna consciousness, we want Lord to be on our side. It's a different level of seeing it. Am I?
no, I mean, I
Yeah.
am not
Yeah.
getting it, but
Maybe you want to add?
I was thinking in context. People may have faith that if I reach Bhagavad Gita, my life will become perfect. But I made a different conception of what that perfection will entail. One is that if I read Bhagavad Gita, I'll make my relationship with Krishna, and that's what makes my life perfect. So that if I read Bhagavad Gita, I'll be able to calm my mind, I'll be able to, be able to better control things, and that's what will make my life perfect. So they're both going to lead to life of way, but they're both very different approaches,
Yeah.
different spirits in which to approach.
But I have a question on top of it. Then what is the incentive to improve that relation with Krishna? That's what I'm trying to understand.
They have a different conception of what that perfection is. One is looking for the relationship, that perfection of life is in a relationship with the Lord, and looking for satisfaction of the heart. The other has a different conception of what perfection of life is. Perfection of life is if I have some power.
So when people pray, they
Hmm.
traditionally any God, and they ask,
They
okay,
seek
God,
something.
give me this or
Yeah.
make this fine. That is
That is
the
the
wrong
reverse
way of
approach.
approaching.
Yes.
So then
All-
what do I pray? Like,
Yeah,
what do I
that
do
we'll
when
get
pray?
there. We'll get there.
Ah.
That is a deeper subject.
Yes,
Now
like
your
a
perception of
be
world
with
will
me.
change. That's why Gita is here. All these other things may come as a byproduct. You don't need to worry. For example, when you go to your father, right? When you are approaching your father, do you really need to ask what you need? Wouldn't your father know and give you the best already? So that is the way in which we have to approach. Lord is like our father, loving father, and he's also all powerful. For example, your father is bigger, who can buy anything. Do you even need to ask, I need that particular car? No, you don't need to. If you just express your full love, that will take care of what you need. So that is a very different approach. Instead of seeing my dad is rich, somehow I need to get this from him before he dies. So that so that's a very wrong spirit, you see. So when Lord is the owner, proprietor, and possessor of everything, we don't need to even ask anything. So there was a story of a woman. She was carrying, big heap of sticks on her head. And at some point, she was so tired and she put the heap down. And, Lord was walking by. He wanted to help. At the time, she sees this person and she asked, Lord asked, can I help you? And then, what she did? Please put this heap back on my head. So that's exactly how we ask many things in this world, right? Actually, if we align to Lord, we harmonize our life in Krishna consciousness, we will be taking care of all the material things. Everything else is a byproduct. You would not ask for it. You focus on developing your relationship with Lord, like Prabhu mentioned. Then automatically everything will follow. Because he is the one giver of everything. Everything that you have in life is presented by him. So why do we have, so in Christianity, there is this, God give us our bread kind of prayer. We don't have such prayers, especially in the theistic, approach to in Bhagavad Gita. We don't have any such low-level prayers. These are all about developing our attraction to Lord and service attitude towards Lord and engaging in his service. That is all that we pray for. So this is a very different level, actually. Yeah. It is at the level of Arjuna because he has that spirit of devotion. Is that okay? Many things will clear. Yeah. Over time we'll get that. Yeah. So many chapters begin with this, special saying that I'm going to reveal you confidential truth, even more confidential truth, like that by Lord Krishna in 8th chapter, 9th chapter, even more confidential truth. This is how, because Arjuna had that intimate relation with Krishna, and he has no envy for Lord. Generally, between any two people in this world, there is a slight envy. Envy means,
Jealousy.
yeah, jealousy, you can say. Yeah. Envy means if somebody is better than us, we cannot tolerate it. Right? So that spirit is there. That core spirit is there. But because Arjuna was such a devoted person to Lord, he has no such envy. Because you don't have, Lord is free to speak about his opulences and qualities. Otherwise, many people think, oh, why is he speaking about his, he's the owner of this, owner of that. Right? Many people, if somebody speaks about like that, then you might feel like that. Why is he boasting himself? Krishna himself says, because you are non-envious of me, I'm going to reveal you this deeper truth about myself. So
Secrets.
yeah, bhakto si me sakha cheti. You are not only my devotee, you are my friend. Sakha means friend. You are my dear friend. Yeah. So that's why, so that spirit, when we have that spirit, may not be at the level of Arjuna, that loving spirit towards Lord, then we actually naturally learn this wisdom of Gita. Otherwise, there is this blocker, okay? And we are like, licking the honey from on the bottle, right? We won't get the essence. When people took knowledge of Gita in the spirit by studying Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, then there was transformation of people. That was the reason when Prabhupada was there just in 5 years, even though he was there for 11 years, in the first 5 to 8 years, 5 to 7 years, he started 100 plus temples. And all the people of the West were openly taking, whoever have this open mind, were able to take up this Krishna conscious movement, and they were all wearing our Indian traditional wear, dhoti kurta, chanting the holy name, putting tilak, right? So all that didn't happen for thousands of years. Why suddenly all of this happened? Because of the presentation of Gita. And the people also, and Prabhupada presented in the right spirit, and people were able to get that essence. Yeah. Okay, now let's do another exercise. So match these two. Be licking outside of honey bottle. Now you can read through all of this.
Mundane scholars.
Yes, mundane scholars, commentary on Gita. Yeah. Millions of university doctorates. Yeah, actually there is one point I didn't mention, so you may not be able to answer. Brahmana's perfection is superior. So that Brahmana, South Indian Brahmana, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that you really understood the essence of Gita. That itself is a certificate that this person, because Lord himself was mentioning that is more than university doctorates, because Lord himself certified. So what Lord essentially taught there was this Brahmana, he has the right spirit to understand Gita. And from that, we can learn that we have to have the devotional attitude about the supremacy of the Lord. Yeah. Opulence of renunciation.
A Lord becoming
A servant of the word, this we discussed. Yeah. Thought makes me cry. This is by the Brahmana, right? Yeah. How Padasarthi is Bhaktavatsala. Yeah. Wherever you are there, there will be victory.
Arjuna telling Krishna. See.
Yeah. Arjuna telling Krishna. Yeah. Yeah. So even in, this was the conclusion of Sanjaya towards the end of Gita. Sanjaya was, doing Doordarshan to Dhritarashtra. Doordarshan means from a distance, he was able to see what is happening in Kurukshetra and relate that to Dhritarashtra in his king palace. So at that time, he says this, wherever there is Arjuna, wherever there is Krishna, there will be opulence and there is victory. Right? So if we have Krishna in our life, that is the same result we get, right? We don't need to seek after anything. Everything will follow, right? Yeah. Kingdom of God without God. Lord's energy, like Dhritarashtra. Sorry, Duryodhana. We discussed about Duryodhana. So one time, in India, I mean, not one time, we can say, in India, a lot of people perform this worship called Lakshmi Puja, right? Where they focus on Lakshmi only. They'll not even bring Vishnu or Narayana in that worship. They focus on Lakshmi. You will see the picture with Lakshmi Devi throwing gold coins from her hand, right? So they do that puja elaborately. But actually, what is that attitude correct? You see the spirit there? The spirit is Lakshmi, you can,
Material.
yeah, it is mainly after material gains, right? So that spirit is actually seeking the opulences of Lord without the Lord. That is the spirit of Duryodhana. That is the spirit of any others? Ravana, right? Ravana wanted what? Sita. Lakshmi himself he wanted. He doesn't want Rama at all. So that is very incorrect spirit.
But that's Ravana, Gita, not Ram. He doesn't know Ram is Lord, right?
Yeah. He didn't learn Bhagavad Gita.
Ram is Lord. People don't want-
Prime Minister, delegation,
Okay.
councillor.
He had the good counsel of Vidura, his
Division.
Vibhishana, yeah, Vibhishana, his brother. But, he didn't listen. All good counsel was available to all the demons. But they never, because they are overpowered by the lust desires they have.
But when I have not read Ramayana, I've just watched in TV and all. But like in the end of the war, when Ravana sees that Ram is actually God, and the one that Ravan praised, right? And so he
That was
is
at the
also-
end he realizes, yeah.
that he is God. So, but my point here, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but like if he knew that he is God, Ram is God, then he wouldn't have probably done what he did. Because
Probably
he
he
does
wouldn't
have
have.
the fear of God, right? He was also a
He
devotee of
himself
God.
thought, he is the supreme.
But I don't know, but I feel that is because he thought Ram is not God. I mean, that spirit is definitely wrong.
The
That-
conception of God itself is wrong in him. He does not understand that there is the supreme Lord, who is the creator and maintainer of everything. That's the problem with Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. They believe that they are the
The strong ones.
supreme. Yeah, there is nobody better than him. That is the spirit. That's why they were like, ruling over everybody. They were dominating everyone and causing destruction. So that is demonic mentality. Even today, there is that spirit in a lot of people. Right? Hitler, what did he do? He thought he is the supreme. And many politicians,
the power itself.
power will get to their head. Yeah. So another lot of misconceptions, right? About many people think, is Bhagavad Gita real or is it just a mythological story? There is a lot of history behind it. But before going over that, even today, there is a station called Kurukshetra, right? There is a place, real place. Where,
In Haryana.
in Haryana, it's there. Even Vrindavan is there. All these places are there. Even the
Dwarka.
Dwarka was there, it's found, and now there is a tourism also. I heard there is a tourism to take you and watch all the ancient buildings of of Lord Krishna's time. And many archaeologists have dated back all these buildings, etc., to around 5,000 years ago. Yeah, as a real incident. So there is, exhibits and excavations that have clearly proved the existence of, real existence of Lord Krishna and all these places about 5,000 years ago. It's a very recent history. Lord Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka, Vrindavan, they were only 5,000 years ago. Lord Rama is like many thousands of years ago, but Lord Krishna. So there is a lot of misconception about this whole thing, whether it really happened. Many people interpret Bhagavad Gita as, as if 5 Pandavas are 5 senses. Arjuna is the soul. So that kind of interpretations were given. those are all incorrect, right? I mean, you may want to learn, extrapolate and learn lessons, that is okay. But to essentially deny the existence of Lord Krishna and, history of entire Mahabharata as just a, like a mythology. The term mythology, by the way, we have to learn very clearly. It's a Indologist introduction about few hundred years, like 250 years ago. When Westerners came to this world, came to our country.
Probably, sorry, sir.
Hmm.
Quick time check, 5 minutes.
Oh, we have 5 minutes only.
Because we have Prashad.
Okay, sure, yeah.
That's that.
We'll continue this. I hope you're all, yeah. So I'll just conclude with this one. So in 1876, there was this person called Max Muller. He's a philosopher. So what he said was, India is much riper for Christianity than Rome or Greece were at the time of Saint Paul. And he added that he would not like to go to India as a missionary because that would make him a dependent on the government. His preference was this: I should like to live for 10 years quietly and learn the language, try to make friends, and then see whether I was fit to take part in a work by means of which the old mischief Indian priestcraft could be overthrown and the way opened for the entrance of simple Christian teaching. So this is their core purpose. So they all came, they learned Sanskrit here, spending 10 years, taking the help of our own, Sanskrit teachers. And what is the purpose? Use that learning to misinterpret all the scriptures, dating them wrongly. They all dated as if all the history was happened just after Jesus Christ. They don't want to predate anything to before Christ. They want to put it as if everything started after Christ, so that this is less of a history than Christianity. That is their core thing. And then they put one word, that mythology. Myth means not truth. But actually, the scriptures, they're called itihasa or Purana. Puran means what? What is the Sanskrit meaning of that? Old history. Right? So these are actual truths that have happened. Lord Rama's pastimes, Lord Krishna's pastimes, these are real histories. Right? And there are manvantras, we won't go into that. Bhagavatam describes many essential details of the human history. So these are all real happenings, right? But because of people are exposed to these books by the recent Indologists who misinterpreted by learning Sanskrit, and people have essentially access to this. People completely learn this as they think that this is all mythology, right? If it is all mythology, why is there need to fight for Ayodhya? It's just we can shift to some other place. It is the real birthplace of Lord Rama. That is why it is important, right? So this kind of, when you read outside, a lot of books talk about history as mythology and all. So don't ever get confused. It's all is a false propaganda created in the recent past, only 200 years ago. Right? So we'll stop here. The knowledge of Vedic wisdom is called agamas. Many of these agamas. Agama means which is coming from higher plane. It's not from human mortal origin. Right? Yeah. Anyway, we'll continue. There is more content we can discuss. But essentially what we learned is through the stories of the Brahmana and Arjuna, we learned what is the right spirit in which we have to learn Gita. Yeah. Unless we approach Gita with the spirit of devotion, we miss the real key to entry to this wisdom. So that is the key lesson. So we'll stop for today. Hare Krishna, we are ending the call. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining online.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Shubham Prabhu. We're ending.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.